Hello. This is it, folks. This is it. This is part 8 of What's on the Rack for New Comic Book Day, 7th of June, 2023. And we're nearly done with the comics, actually. We're into the last few X's, which of course means just X-Men books. We have The X-Men, issue 23. Big things are happening, no pun intended. It's a giant iron... Never mind. Then we have The Immortal X-Men issue 12. Now, I confess I'm a little bit behind on this. I've got some catching up to do, but it looks amazing. Look at that art. It looks amazing. And there is a heck of a lot going on. And speaking of a heck of a lot of the things that are going on, we have a really rather brilliant minimal cover. Before the Fall, or X-Men Before the Fall, Mutant First Strike 1. Krakoa attacks. In rather natty jackets, I think it has to be said. The plot to this is complicated. I don't really think I've got time to go into it now because, as I say, it's complex. But this promises to be a story that I think might actually fix some of the issues I've got with X-Men continuity right now. So, thank you, Marvel, for, giving me what I want for a change. Okay, that's comics. Just very quickly to run through collections that are hitting the rack this week. Lorenzo Di Felici's Chroma. Absolutely gorgeous storytelling. It's an adventure like you have not seen before. You have Chroma, who lives imprisoned in a tower in a city of darkness and without colour, because the people there believe that colour is evil. But turns out she has quite a lot to offer, and perhaps the reason she's been imprisoned is not the one that everyone has been told. Gorgeous storytelling. Absolutely loved the single issues. You very much need to check this out. I mentioned in an earlier part of What's on the Rack this week that the new story arc with issue 6 of Once Upon a Time at the End of the World had kicked off. If you missed the first story arc, you can read the collection. Single issues of the first story arc, the very early ones, you're going to struggle to find. But the collection gives you everything. And it's a brilliant post-apocalyptic romance of a particularly unsmoochy kind. But I am a sucker for a romance, and this is a particularly good one. A story that spans decades of a relationship that does not get off to the best of starts, but ultimately is not just profound, but genuinely moving. Absolutely love that book. It is very much worth your time. So that's Once Upon a Time at the Edge of the World from Boom Studios, hitting the rack this week. And then we have the paperback version of the collection of Nightwing. The hardcover of this has been out for a while. It's the first collection of the current run of Nightwing by Bruno Redondo on art and Tom Taylor on scripting, and it is just superb. Without wanting to get into too much hyperbole, this is not just the best run of Nightwing I've ever read. This is the best superhero story that anyone is putting out anywhere at the moment, and is easily the best thing of any genre that DC are putting out. It's just sublime. Just trust me. You need this book in your life. Then we have Bolero. Now, this has been out for a while, so it's not new this week. It is a... No, can't show you that page. It is a beautiful story. It does contain nudity and may not be entirely safe for work, but it is fabulous. Then we have... Again, not new, but timely. We're in June, it is Pride Month, and Twisted Romance is 12 romantic tales for people who do not necessarily conform to the binary ideal of male and female being attracted to each other. Which is not to say this is about gay relationships or trans relationships. It's much more complicated than that. This explores human feeling. It's about love, not sex, this book. It explores human emotion on so much of a deeper level than just a story of romance would normally be expected to do. It's not twisted romance as in, yeah, these people are twisted. It's romance with a twist. It did come out originally in single issues. It is unutterably sublime. If you have a romantic bone in your body, well worth a look. And speaking of Pride, Strangers in Paradise is finally getting reprinted in collections that are compact enough that you might actually be able to afford them. Some of the most beautiful black and white line art you will ever come across. Terry Moore is an effing genius in this regard. And this story is Terry Moore's first work. Neil Gaiman's pull quote is, "What most people don't know about love, sex and relations with other human beings would fill a book. Strangers in Paradise is that book." And it's not far wrong. Strangers in Paradise, if you don't know it, which means you've not been listening to me nearly enough, I love this book, is essentially the story of Francine and Katchoo. Two young women who have known each other since school, who were firm friends in high school, but then Katchoo disappeared for a bit. And when she returns, we get sort of a love triangle between Katchoo and Francine and a young man called David. David loves Katchoo. Katchoo loves Francine. Francine isn't quite sure where she stands or what exactly love means. And ostensibly, this is a story of Francine figuring that out. It also happens to involve organised crime, some very, very pan relationships, and ultimately, a real examination of the power not just of love, but the power of friendship and the power of family and what family actually means. I read this from the very beginning in the 90s. It actually had a much more profound effect on me, I think, than I would have appreciated at the time. It's a beautifully told story, which goes places you would not expect it to go, and does so in a way that never feels forced, which, given the type of story it grows into, is no mean feat. I cannot recommend Strangers in Paradise highly enough. It was, as it happens, the first comic about a same-sex relationship that I ever read. And I think I was spoiled slightly in that it tells that story in such a natural way. It never makes an issue of it. It's also just a really well-told story. It's irrelevant, actually, that Katchoo and Francine are the same gender. That's not really what this story is about. And I like that. And it's ideal for Pride Month. Or any month. And then finally, again, these things are not new particularly, but back in stock, we have The Essential Judge Dredd, The Apocalypse War. The Apocalypse War, probably my favourite ever Judge Dredd sort of story. Some great work by the late, great Carlos Esquerra. Just stunning stuff. This is very early Judge Dredd. It's Dredd at his finest. And I cannot recommend it highly enough. Also not new, but back in stock for the first time in a while, we have Michael Moorcock's Elric, which is visually unbelievably striking. Not written by Michael Moorcock, of course, but it does have a foreword by the great man. And then finally, and I can't show the interior of this because it's shrink wrapped, but the collected volume of the first 3 books in the hopefully 9-part series Wonder Woman Historia, The History of the Amazons. This is beautiful stuff. Amazing writing by Kelly Sue DeConnick, with art by Phil Jimenez, Gene Hart and Nicola Scott. I hope they get to do the other 6 books they have planned for this series. If they don't, do not worry. Be assured, this is a story complete in its own right. So if they never get to do the sequels, it's fine. Except that, I really want to read the sequels, so get on that, DC. And that is it. That is the rack this week. Thank you for your kind attention. We'll be back with more of the same next week. We are open under the stairs at the Everyman Cinema between 1 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and between 11 a.m. and 5:30 p.m. on Saturday. We hope to see you there. If you can't make it down, www.destinationvenus.co.uk is our online self. If you can't find what you're looking for in our online store, email us, info@destinationvenus.co.uk, and we will sort you out. We hope to see you soon. Until we do, be kind to yourself, be kind to absolutely everybody else, particularly me, as I get my old and creaky bones off my chair and around to the other side of the camera, because I still haven't fixed the remote. Take care, guys. We'll see you in a bit.